Well, Elon Musk has more wealth than more than half of the bottom of America?
Yep.
Like, come on.
Yep.
Like, there's no way we live in a society that claims to be the most wealthiest society on the planet and we can't fix homelessness.
Well, in that case, the Democrats' pivot should be to go more socialist.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
Yes, they should. That's what
And
everybody's
that's
saying.
Bernie.
That's what everybody's saying.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Andrew Schulz admitting that maybe the Republican Party is not good, but Kyle Kulinski is really diving deep and seeing how much he means that. Let's watch.
Curious what all you guys think of this clip, because I have some feelings. I have some thoughts on it. So Andrew Schulz had on Bernie Sanders on his show recently, and I think Bernie generally does a great job when he goes on like the Bro-y podcast. He finds a way to make leftism palatable to people who otherwise are snuggling up to the right these days. I have some critiques of how he handled that interview here and there, but broadly speaking, positive impact overall. Okay, so since that podcast, clearly Andrew Schulz has been thinking about some of the stuff he's been saying, and Charlemagne, of course, host on The Breakfast Club. He also fills in for The Daily Show from time to time. They're having a conversation here about politics, and I did not have this on my bingo card, the stuff that they end up saying here. Let's watch. Listen to this.
You know what the reflection is? And Bernie said it on Flagrant. Everybody's to fucking blame. This ain't a Democrat thing. It's not a Republican thing. This is government has failed the people. We live in a capitalist society where you got all of these motherfuckers with all the wealth. Elon Musk has more wealth than more than half of the bottom of America?
Yep.
Like, come on.
Yep.
Like, there's no way we live in a society that claims to be the most wealthiest society on the planet and we can't fix homelessness.
Well, in that case, the Democrats' pivot should be to go more socialist.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with.
Yes, they should. That's what
And
everybody's
that's
saying.
Bernie.
That's what everybody's saying.
Because the Republican solution to what you just described is going to be more
Deregulate
capitalism.
All right, so first of all, let me just say, this guy right here in the bottom right corner of the screen, he's the real MVP of this video, because he just boiled it down to its pure ingredients and said, well, the answer is more socialism. The Democrats should be more socialist. So this guy's based as fuck. I love the reaction of the producer here, too. I'm going to play it for you one more time, because watch the reaction of the producer as if to be like, obviously that's correct.
Well, in that case, the Democrats' pivot should be to go more
So look at the guy wearing the Yankees hat, that producer. Watch.
socialist. Yeah, which I'm fine with.
Yes, they should. That's what
And
everybody's
that's
saying.
Bernie.
That's what everybody's saying.
Because the Republican solution to what you just described is going to be more
Deregulate
capitalism, deregulation.
This clip is largely correct. It's largely correct. The point that's not true is at the beginning, and it kind of triggers me to no end these days, because I really don't like, given the speed with which the Trump people are moving and how everything they're doing is fucking horrible for the country, it is not a tenable position to say both parties are the same. That is.
And the moment in this clip that's really striking to me is whenever it's the Democrats should be more socialist. That's something, it cuts through all the bullshit. It literally cuts through every single thing. And it's not idealism. You'll have a lot of people on the right say that, oh, that's idealistic. This now it has to be a survival mechanism through this, we're being devoured by freaking greed nonstop, and to Kyle's point, yes, this is not the same thing. This is not two parties that are having the same thing. I would see it more or less as you have the, conservative father who's abusive and beats you. And then you have the Democratic Party who is just looking at you like the mother who's like looking at you like, oh, well, and she just shrugs her shoulders. Like, what are we supposed to do? We can leave. We can find a way to get out. We don't have to deal with this crap. There's a way to not have to deal with this abusive other. Maybe we can't leave, but at least we can fight back.
It's just factually not accurate. You have under Biden, for example, he did a great job with the NLRB and union policies. He did when it came to the CHIPS Act, when it came to the Inflation Reduction Act, when it came to the infrastructure bill. They were creating 800,000 manufacturing jobs. So to say that party is the same as the one who Trump in his first term lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs, and we're losing more now. Those things are not the same, and that's just one example. Biden signed an executive order to raise the minimum wage for federal contractors and employees. It impacted hundreds of thousands of workers. Trump literally signed an executive order to revoke that and lower the pay of those people. It's not the same. Stop saying it's not the same. It's just not. And it's the lazy, I don't follow this stuff closely, both sidesism that triggers me to no end these days. So that very first part is not true. You have to be willing to say, yes, the Democrats are way better than the Republicans, and it's actually not particularly close. Now, having said that, do the Democrats massively fall short of where they need to be? Yes, they do. You have to say that first part, but on the second part, yes, they fall short. And there's a lot of criticisms of Biden arming and funding the genocide in Gaza, for one, but there's a bunch of them that we can make, which are really substantive criticisms. But the second part of the clip, that is undeniably accurate. And all it took was one conversation with Bernie Sanders. And now these guys are like, well, hold on. Can we do socialism? Is socialism on the menu? Can we do socialism? Can we do a massive redistribution of wealth from the robber barons and the billionaires and the plutocrats and give that money in the form of a great social safety net to working class people? Can we do universal health care? Can we do free college? Can we wipe out the medical debt? Can we wipe out the student loan debt? Can we have unionization rates and a higher minimum wage? One conversation with Bernie, and now everybody in that room is like, so actually the Democrats should become more socialist, not less socialist. And the reaction of the producer was like, yeah, let's do that. And one of them was like,
And what we're witnessing, I mean, it's the court jesters, Charlemagne The God and Andrew Schulz. Charlemagne was literally on a Trump ad for his presidency. And they're the ones that's now saying, wait, should we tax the rich? Should we tax the king? Is that what, and they're not even making jokes anymore. They're wondering out loud. They're starting to become part of the masses that they were having to neutralize at some point. So, I mean, don't get this mistaken. I mean, at the very end of the day, this is all still performance. Nobody is organizing. No one's, actually wanting to attack the war machine. But I do think that this is hilarious.
I have no problem with it. And Schultz was like, yeah, that's a great idea. So I love that. But here comes the main point, y'all, and I know you know it's coming. My fear is all the people, except for the producers, who I think are genuine and based as fuck, but Andrew Schulz and Charlemagne, more Andrew Schulz, Charlemagne to a lesser degree, I fear he's going to go right back in the next episode and then the one after that, and for the next 2 years, 3 years, it will be more criticism of Democrats than Republicans, right? And if the Democrats were to actually do the right thing, which is go more socialist, what would they do? The right would hit you with a tsunami of propaganda and misinformation. Bernie Sanders wants to take 90 cents on every dollar you make, bro. He wants to punish success. Do you want everybody to be poor? Because that's what's going to happen under Bernie Sanders policies. And unfortunately, what I see in this podcast space so often is that so many of them get duped by conservative propaganda, where all it takes is one peep of criticism of the Democrats and one news cycle where all the Republican politicians hammer away and move the poll numbers on it. And suddenly they view it as a good faith criticism and they think, well, maybe there's some truth in what the Republicans are saying about the Democrats here. And maybe going socialist is actually not a great idea, right? Because it's Andrew Schulz. What did he say on that podcast recently? That I used to be a Democrat because Democrats got pussy and said whatever they want. Now it's the Republicans who get pussy and say whatever they want. So if the Democrats want me back, tell me, or you get some pussy and tell me to say whatever I want. Like the fucking thinking of like a 15-year-old or some shit stuck in that mindset. And so I just think it's way too easy for these people to just, boom, snap right back into what they were doing the entire Trump era so far, which is the jiu-jitsu argument of, actually, let's focus on the Democrats and shit on them nonstop and give the Republicans largely a pass for all the shit they do. Because that's the other thing, is I never see the sort of like visceral criticism that they give to Democrats, right? Where all these podcasts are more than happy to beat up on Democrats all day, every day. They don't do 1/10 that for Trump. Like, these people.
And that's the real danger. You have these. And that's the real danger. You have these podcasters that are just parroting criticisms of the Democratic Party. And let's be honest, everyone has their own criticisms. That's not the point. But they're not offering any systemic alternatives. There's no deeper like, hey, well, this is the issue. And, maybe we can spark a conversation about what we could do about it. That's not it. That's not it. They look to whatever is going to fill the void. And what's that? It's whatever they're paying to get pushed. Whatever these it's always going to be right-wing talking points always going to be right-wing talking points. Oh, we're upset about the way things are going. Well, let's cut the taxes on the rich and let's start hating, let's start hating the woke. That's all it is. They just put all of their frustration at whoever, at the system, into these channels, these safe, just complaints about life that has nothing to do with what actually is causing us frustration.
People don't talk all the time about Trump's crypto scam that he ran on his own supporters. They don't talk about Jared Kushner taking $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. They will talk about Hunter Biden and his Ukraine corruption, right? They will talk about Hillary Clinton and her corruption. But Trump taking $160 million from foreign governments while president, not a fucking peep, right? And so there's a focus issue here too. And I don't know. I'll ask you guys, am I being too harsh? Because
So there we have it, you guys. We're just going to let Trump, we're going to let all these people just bail themselves out. Oh, it's ironic that they're making coins. It's ironic. There's no actual disgust. We have become content with all of the bullshit that's going on. And it's just how it goes until we organize, until we find a way, build a movement against this war machine. That's all that's going to continue to happen. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.